This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management. Guardian Radio.
Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through whatever you've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your lane talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your Lane Talk Show with Coach Trish, Hanna.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of Your Lane Talk Show with your coach Trish, Hanna, broadcast in Nassau, Bahamas. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sunday. I love this space. I love being in your company on a beautiful Sunday like this. I mean, it's not too cold, it's not too hot. Mind you, it's cold in the studio. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. But nonetheless, outside is pretty cool. All right. And so for those who are tuning into Your Lane Talk Show for the first time, this is the space where women are empowered, encouraged, and educated spiritually, their soul, spirit, and body, I should say, because I don't want to run on with that. But spirit, soul, and body, you get the empowerment, you get the encouragement, you get your education. And of course, we are very strategic when it comes to people who we bring on the show. We want to make sure that these people actually have experienced the things that they talk about or study the things that that they talk about. We've had doctors, we've had lawyers, we've had people who have experienced incidences throughout their lives. You know, they come to testify about it, and just so we could be relatable. And of course, in shows like this, we want to make sure we get the truth. We want to make sure that people are set free from mind bondage, soul bondage, etc. And so today is going to be a little bit different. I don't know if you've ever heard a show like this one before because of the angle, but of course I'll talk to you about that a little bit more. All right, we're going to talk to ensure that there's freedom, make sure that there's transformation. That's what the show is all about. Of course, we know that transformation doesn't happen in silence. It happens in honest conversations like what we're going to have today. Of course, and freedom doesn't come from pretending. It comes from truth. So whether you're listening for the encouragement, clarity, healing, or growth, you're in the right lane today on Your Lane Talk Show. Last week's episode was titled Surviving Betrayal and Reclaiming Your Strength. We had guest Coach Trey Walters. Lord, the man talked about how the warlock came and took his wife. My God. All right. He spoke about how to heal in processes and times where you have been betrayed. He spoke about, having to just let things go. Because, of course, in order for you to move on, to say you want to be in another relationship, to say you want to develop the trust, you have to ensure that forgiveness starts with you, firstly. The things that you may have been pulling down or consider that you may have been some part of whatever may have taken place. And then secondly, it starts with having to forgive the ones who betrayed you. So, of course, if you want to tune into that show, it's episode 161 on YouTube. It's called Surviving Betrayal and Reclaiming Your Strength with Coach Trey Walters. All right. And of course, while you're there on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Now, today's conversation is juicy. is one many people avoid. And when they do talk about it, they are a little bit, they're not as transparent. We want to be transparent today. But because we know that this conversation is desperately needed. Singleness has been painted as a problem to fix, a season to escape, or proof that something is missing. But what if singleness is actually revealing something important about us? What if it's not punishment, but preparation, not delay, but development? Today, we're talking about what singleness reveals and how to grow through it. What does singleness reveal? All right. And that's one of the first questions I think I'm going to ask my guests. I'm so excited to have her on board. And how do we grow through it? All right. Emotionally, mentally, and relationally, without shame, without pressure or comparison, without having to hear when you go to church on Sunday, "Girl, you ain't get married yet?" Without having to, avoid going certain places, avoid seasons such as this in this month. How do we deal with that? How do we stand tall in knowing who we are and being assured of who we are, regardless of our status? All right, I'm excited to talk about that. And of course, there are lots of ways that we can be heard today. You can tune into Guardian 96.9 FM radio dial, channel 969 on cable, BT 612, the Guardian Radio app for Android or Apple, on the website www.guardiantalkradio.com, Facebook, Your Lane Life Coaching, and of course, YouTube, Your Lane with Coach Trish Hanna. And we are live, all right? Your Lane Talk Show, episode 162, What Singleness Reveals and How to Grow Through It, is brought to you by John Shoe Store and Accessories, Tropical Gyros, Your Lane Life Coaching, The Perfume Bar, YBE Promotions. Now, listen, let me tell you something. If you have not gotten your tickets for the, you all know who's coming, right? Maverick City, I Shall Not Want concert. If you have not gotten your tickets, you better try hard get it, because I can tell you the promoters are saying, look, we only have a certain amount of seats here, and once those seats have been filled, you cannot just come in and say we're going to stand up and watch. It's not happening, all right? So you want to go and get whatever tickets remain at www.bahamastickets.com. All right, because that's what's happening right now. We want to enjoy that moment, that time with Chandler Moore, okay? He's the lead singer of Maverick City and Elevation Music. All right, the I Shall Not Want concert is happening February 27th at the Beach Soccer Stadium, East Bay Street. So go and get your tickets at bahamastickets.com. And of course, if you want to get the tangible tickets, you want to get those hard copies, you can go to the box office. They're open from Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., okay? Another reason why you should get those tickets is because they're doing some giveaways. You want to be able to get the number so that if your name or your number rather has been called, you get to win those excellent prizes. Your Lane is also brought to you by the Children's Dream Journal. February is the month of love, so why not pour into the dreams of your children? All right. The Children's Dream Journal helps your child pray, write, and grow in the purpose God placed inside of them. Don't just celebrate love this month. We want you to invest in your child's future, your godchild, your niece, your nephew, whomever. Get your copy of the Children's Dream Journal today. They're all available at All Seasons Book and Gift Center in Palmdale, or you can actually order it on Amazon. All right. We're also brought to you by DQ Bahamas Grill and Chill. Listen, they did their grand opening last week. It was the bomb. Okay. They are located, the Grill and Chill is open at Harbor Bay Shopping Center. Swing by for a juicy made to order burger, crispy fries, and your favorite Blizzard treat, all in one stop. Whether you're craving something savory or sweet, DQ Bahamas Harbor Bay has you covered. All right. Come hungry, leave happy at DQ Grill and Chill, Harbor Bay. Your Lane is also brought to you by Lysol, distributed by Thompson Trading, and distributed by Thompson Trading. So I want to thank my sponsors for being a part of today's show and program. Of course, we could not have done this without you. I'm excited. So guess what? I want to congratulate, let me get his name because I want to make sure that I say his name properly and correctly. Anwar Knowles, congratulations for winning 2 tickets to the I Shall Not Want concert. He was all excited about it. All right, Anwar, congratulations. Now, when you go there, on that day, on that night, please take a picture and send it over, all right? Take a picture, send it over. Let us know that you were there. Let us know that you enjoyed it. All right. And so now, if you want to, because there's a lot of people like, man, Trishawn, you can let me know when y'all doing tickets again. All right. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that. I'm going to give you an opportunity to call. And the question that I'm going to ask today is, do you think being single today is harder or easier than it was years ago, and why? Do you think being single today is harder or easier, than it was years ago, and why? I think it's a very interesting question. I think that question is worth 2 tickets to the Chandler Moore concert. And of course, in order for you to win it, you have to call in. No, we're not doing text messages. We're not asking for anyone to type it in on the YouTube or on Facebook. This question deserves a call. So before I even answer the call, I want to make sure that when you do call, you have not won a ticket or any prizes for anything that we have done for the year. So if you have won something from your Lane Talk Show this year, you are not eligible to call in. All right? So the number to call is 323-6232. 325-4316 or 325-4259. I didn't even ask the question properly, and the phone just started ringing, but bless the Lord, let's answer the call. Good afternoon, your Lane Talk Show. How may I help?
Good afternoon. I hope I'm in the right lane.
Well, child, I hope you're on the right lane, too.
The
now,
question was, is it harder to be single now than years gone by?
Yes, sir. Is it?
I think it's a lot harder now because of the temptations are now more now visible, especially for a single man like me, who was at least I'm a widower.
Okay.
And it's hard for me now in the church. You go to church for a little refuge, but the women are there in the same thing, the same thing in the world.
Lord of
so
mercy.
that is a little difficult for a man, and it is like you were used to something. Your wife is now dead, so you know about it. And the temptation is very, very. Back in the day, you used to have the women and wearing the dress below their knees and stuff. Now, I saw a lady in the food store that they dropped something. I don't know if it's the paper that she was shopping on, but she had to ask somebody to pick that up for her.
Oh, because the skirt was too short. So it's harder.
It's rougher now.
So it's rougher now. You spoke a bit about your testimony. It's rough because of the temptation from the women, or is it rough because of the pressure from being a man?
Both. When I say both, it's because of you're a man, so you'll have the temptations, and even if you're home by yourself, sometimes as a human being, your mind, with your brain, your mind will just go into wave sometimes. Maybe you'll have flashback about your previous life, and then you go, you say, boy, you're in the house of refuge. And then you're like, it's basically almost the same thing that you could.
So what you're saying is, it's the temptation because of the way that women are dressed. I want you to just narrow it in. It's because...
Some people would say, but you see, with my condition now, it's not really hard on me no more now because God be my judge. I lose my sight. So that kind of saved me a lot now.
Okay. So you can't see the women.
But the conversations that I gathered around the church pews and around the water fountain in the Sunday school, and you just airdrop. You don't go there hearing people conversations, but you just hear something.
I hear you. All right, caller, thank you so much for calling. I want to get a female to call in, man. Dr. Drika, sorry?
Does he win the tickets?
He's going to win the ticket.
Oh.
Did he hang up? You have him? Okay, let him call back so you can get your ticket. I want a female to call in. I want to hear a view of a young female as well. All right, let's see if we can get a young female. When I say young,
Okay.
Your Lane Talk Show, good afternoon. I can't hear. If you can call back, you can call back. Let's get a female caller. If they're young or old, it doesn't matter. Let's just get a female caller so we can win those tickets, because I want to get in this. This is a juicy conversation. I want us to talk about it. And just before I ask the questions, of course, I want to introduce my speaker. She is not, everyone should know who she is because she's always on Guardian Radio. Man, she needs to have a show or something. She ain't no guest. But let's just introduce her anyway, nonetheless. Our special guest for today is Dr. Edrika D. Richardson, also known as Dr. E. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed in multiple U.S. states, and an AAMFT-approved supervisor. She works with individuals, couples, and families across the Bahamas, the U.S., and internationally. With over a decade of experience, Dr. E specializes in relationships, family dynamics, and emotional wellness. She is also a professor, media contributor, I told y'all, and author of This Isn't Working For Me. Dr. E, welcome to Your Lane Talk Show.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
Listen, it's a pleasure.
You'll tell these people how far we go back?
No, we go way back. All right. Edrika and I knew each other from first grade at St. John's College. I being and let y'all know how long we've been out of school, but that's okay. All right, because she is phenomenal, and I'm proud of her. I'm proud of the woman that she's become. I'm proud of, her intelligence. I'm proud of the fact that to me, in school, she seemed to be very shy. She was not outspoken at all when it comes to asking questions, or being upfront.
Really?
To my view.
Okay, I know this is interesting.
Okay, my view. So, I mean, she was opinionated, but not to a point. That's probably coming a little like 7th, 8th, maybe 9th grade.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
but back then, primary school, no.
No.
No. All right. The fact that she's outspoken and I don't even know how to describe you, Edrika, but I can say that I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you, my colleague. All right. Now, you've stated, as we've touched today in your introduction, you've worked with individuals, couples, and families for over a decade. What patterns do you consistently see showing up in people who struggle during singleness?
Timing. They want it to end. Their idea is that this should only happen. After that, everything else should just fall into place magically. And I think what people forget is that singleness is a gift. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, if you are spiritually blessed, you could see that it's a gift because it teaches you patience, it teaches you calm, it teaches you personal development, so that you have a readiness for whatever is going to be put in front of you. But people don't see it as that. And I think a lot of it has largely to do with how we're socialized to believe that you have to get these benchmarks met in your life by a certain time or you're expired. We have like this expiration clock in our minds. And if things don't happen according to that clock, then something is wrong with us. Rather than people seeing singleness as a time to figure out what's so unique about you. You have time for personal growth, emotional development, for independence, a time to discover without compromise at all. Some time to discover about yourself and be able to then communicate that with whoever you're supposed to share your life with. And if people spent more time truly being single, content, and happy, by the time they find their partner, I probably wouldn't have so much couples coming in for relationship issues because they would have learned to work on themselves and have an awareness that allows them to know, okay, here's what about me that I still am growing with throughout this relationship, but I can explain that to you so that we can work on this together and change the mentality. I think the mentality is, like you say, when you go on a Sunday to church, the first thing they say to you is,
Girl, what's going on with you? What
right.
happened?
And we don't understand that, I'm sure those people, you have people in your churches, in your spaces, in your community spaces who have been doing the work and who've been trying. And like the caller said, it is not as easy as it was back in the day. I think, if anything we have more distractions now. And with the amount of temptation, as he did mention, but also we are living in our lives are publicized. We are no longer have any anonymity with anything. I don't know. It's amazing.
Everywhere.
Everything is out there. Even the things you don't think is out there is out there somehow. Or we're connected constantly in social media, which makes us think that the pool is so vast but yet it's so small when you especially look at thinking. All of us are aligned on how we think and how we value or what our morals are. So it kind of shrinks the pool. And so if I had to encourage singles to do anything, it is how have you spent this time growing so you could be the best version of yourself for when you are gifted that partner you're supposed to be in a relationship with.
You starting off strong because I even ain't get there yet. You starting off really strong. I'm nitpicking at your bio, right? Because you've shared that, you've counseled not locally and internationally.
Yeah.
What I want to know is do you find that there's a cultural difference in how singleness is viewed and handled emotionally from, let's say, counseling Bahamians or versus wherever you go or or how you've been? Is there like a cultural difference in mindset?
I think there is a cultural difference in mindset, but then I also see the similarities. Because when you said that, my first thought went to, I have this client I'm working with right now who her family is of Indian descent. And I don't know if you know much about the Indian culture. And if you are 30 and you're not engaged or married, you're considered washed up in their culture. And what Hanna, I had to work on for a long time is the idea that she wasn't ready. If she had gotten married before now, like she just literally got engaged a few weeks ago, she was not going to be a healthy partner. And so the same thing I find here in our culture is that we too have this expiration that really drives home whether or not somebody has the ability to be a good partner. And I'm unsure as to where that timeline came from. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I might have missed this part. But is there like a age in the Bible in which you were supposed to have done these things by?
No.
Okay.
But culture is saying at least by 25.
25?
But
you can see these 25-year-olds now. Okay.
No, not this generation. But before that, our grandparents was getting married from like 12, 13, 14.
That is true. But again, they had pressures then. A lot of those people got married at that time for resources. Now we live in a world where resources may be scarce, but they're scarce in a different capacity than they are now. And a lot more people who wouldn't have been able to get things on their own or being able to do that, which I think changes the mentality of singleness too. Because not everybody who is single is unhappy. And that's the other message we get that gets driven by that. That if you are single, you must be unhappy or something must be wrong with you.
Something wrong with you.
And I saw this post this young lady is doing now where she says she's starting to give marriage advice back to her married friends who always give her single advice. And so she's flipping it. The same things that they will say to her, she's flipping it to a married person. I thought that was so interesting because even in people's want to help, sometimes they don't understand how their language is damaging to your sense of self as to where you're at. Because there are a lot of people out there who are single, who have done the work, who are waiting in preparation and doing the things that have been assigned to them. And that's the other thing. Everyone's assignment is not the same.
No.
We know that. And what they're doing is they're trying to ensure that when the opportunity presents themselves and they know that it has been ordained, then they will be able to move forward. But some of us wait on that timeline because my timeline should be better than the timeline that I was instructed to have.
Listen, let me cut you off 1 second. And somebody posted something on Facebook. They said, singleness is harder today than back. Okay, so you're answering the question. Than back there. There's too much fake people around.
I agree.
People who hide behind masks. You do not know who is straight sexually. Oh, Lord, we going there, Enrico. Many people are so selfish now. They do not always respect other individuals. That is awesome. I
can agree with that. I think what happens now is that you would assume that with the openness of the world now, and I mean that with the access to the internet, we could find anything. I was literally sitting at lunch and we were having a conversation. I said, I'm going to find it. And literally in 5 minutes of the conversation, I had found what we were talking about. And so you would think people would not come to relationships with masks on, but they do.
They do.
They do, and they're not telling the truth. And what I could hear in that person's message is, if you were saying you're out there, you're saying you want to be partnered in a healthy way, why don't you come telling and standing in your own truth?
Be open. Just
But this is why when you know a person's not done singleness right, because you get so comfortable in your truth that you're not afraid to share it with the next person and then say to them, here's the stuff I bring to the table and the stuff about me that still needs to be worked on. what you want to do.
You want to be with it? You want to help me? You want to grow along with me,
or you want to
just
run away?
Go?
Right.
You have a choice.
And that's what you do. And so when I hear statements like that, it makes me just think that person's not ready to commitment at all. They probably don't even want to really be committed.
No.
And so, and then the idea of sexuality. Ladies, men, please ask these questions initially. I know we try to wait and be a little demure and maybe ask and like a couple of dates, but honestly these have to be like initial questions now. And you have to ask the person, do you only date this person, these type of people? Do you date everybody? Do you have any secret relationships that you do not discuss? So we could all be on some level of honesty, because I think the other hard part is that when you have been single and preparing yourself and you go to be vulnerable, put yourself in that situation, and somebody takes advantage, and I feel like that's taking advantage of somebody's genuineness, it really sets that person back. And if you say you care about a person, don't do that to them. Be honest. Let them know what your truth is and let them decide, because none of us like our choices to be taken away.
No.
And that's really, it's all up to that. And if you think telling the truth will diminish your chance, that's not your person.
And that's the thing, because like you coming in the relationship thought, you coming in with lies. So you expecting people to accept you if you're lying. That doesn't make sense. That's going to mess up your relationship, as you stated.
I have a client system right now that they happily married for 10 years, but a lie came out that would have probably changed the trajectory of their relationship. But it came out now, and it is changing the trajectory, because it was never thought of as to we could hold this, figure it out together before. Now it's being felt like the whole relationship was built on a lie.
Yeah.
And so people don't understand that. Yeah. And so if you are out there and you're single and you're trying to date, make sure you have some, like just initial questions to ask to understand the person's mentality and their core values, because that's huge.
Yeah.
If you've been single for a while, you should really know what your values are and what things you're looking for or things you're not looking for, so you could be upfront with it.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Yes, it's a little personal, but I just want to know. Are you single at the moment?
Today? What's today?
On this good day, on this good Sunday? Yeah.
Yes, on this good Sunday.
Okay, so respectfully, right? Because many people assume that it's, it's wrong or something's wrong with the individual. You're beautiful. You have things going on for yourself. You know what I mean? You are highly intelligent. You are independent and all these other things, right? So from both your professional lens and, if applicable, your personal experience, what is the hardest truth about singleness that most people are afraid to admit? What do you think, especially in the church or relationship?
What is the mess you bring to a relationship? I think that's what is hardest for us to admit. I tell people, if you can sit with your, I'm going to use this word, unfortunately, sit with your demons and you know what they are.
Yeah.
And you can talk about them, no one has the power anymore to use them against you.
Yeah.
But until you know what they are, you are going to probably successfully destroy any healthy relationship that comes your way. You have to be able to identify what it is. What's those things that trigger you and why they're triggering to you? Can you explain that to somebody you're trying to be partnered with? And let them know why it's an issue for you, so that, and also tell them what to do instead. And that's where we get it wrong too. And so I think one of the hardest things is knowing what stuff you come with. We don't all just come bubbly. We all get a little bit of mess behind, right?
Yeah.
So what is that? What are those things that you're coming with? And if you understand and can address and be honest about your flaws, then I think you have a healthier and an easier time kind of assimilating to that new space together.
I love that.
But it's when you can't admit what those things are, where you have done none of the work, or you come in just saying, I want to do whatever you want, let yourself kind of go to join the system and forget who you were the whole time. Because that's not how it works. No. Eventually it's going to show up.
It's going to show up. And I believe people do this because, they want to put their best foot forward. They want to impress. They want to make sure that they get that relationship.
Okay, so I can say this
in
nice.
in the
So you
bag.
want to lie then?
That's what's been happening.
That's really what it is. I don't have a way to massage that one. You are coming in lying, and you expect to have an honest, trustworthy, transparent, authentic relationship. I don't think it works that way. I think that if you say to yourself, look, in this time of singleness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and really work on myself. I'm going to honestly be devoted to reading my scriptures, aligning with that, figuring out where my community exists. I'm going to, look at my historical data of my life and figure out where things might have been trauma triggers for me or not, what things live rent-free in my head. Maybe did I make sure I grieved that old relationship? Am I making sure I'm not engaging in conversations with people of a nature that does not align with where I'm at today? So that you create a space that the energy and the things that you're pulling towards you are healthy and positive and optimistic and push you to that next level. But you can't run from you. I always say this. I say this constantly. Many of us walk past mirrors, but we can't look in them.
No.
We are running from ourselves, but yet we want the fairy tale. We want our relationships to just turn into magic, but have you become your own magic? Can you stand and look in the mirror and say, you know what? I like that person, flaws and all. And I can't wait to share that person with somebody else.
Girl, you talking. You are talking. So tell me now, in singleness, right? How can singleness expose unresolved trauma? Like,
Ooh.
Talk to us about that.
Many of us
or unmet emotional needs. Talk to us about
both.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the first part I'll go to is how many of us can be honest and say that we can sit with our own selves in quiet? How important that is. Meaning that you can sit in your house or wherever your safe space is, no TV, no phones, and sit there with your own thoughts and be okay with them. That your thoughts don't scare you. And why I say that is because most of us don't like quiet. We have to have something going on. Even if it's the TV going in the background, the radio going on, music going on, we don't sit quiet. And ask yourself, why can't you sit with the quiet? Is it that the things that you've been avoiding, thinking about will come up and show up? Because I feel like that's when you start to notice some of the things that could be traumatic for you. In addition to that, though, when you talk about unmet needs, have you made a list as to what those needs are and where those needs came from? Some of us have needs just because we grew up in a way that had things going a certain way in our household, and we expect our next households to run exactly that same way, but we never questioned why those things were done that way. And then we get in arguments because we don't understand them, but then we say our needs are unmet. So the question is, have you asked yourself the why when it comes to these needs? And once you have answered the why, now can you explain that to somebody else as to why these things are important to you? And so if you can literally sit with yourself and be content with yourself, I think that's when you've mastered singleness.
I love that. I remember days of just going on dates, solo dates, enjoying myself, going to just movies, my own little pampering time and stuff, and getting to know Trishawn.
Yeah.
And what I love about it too is the fact that, I journal a lot. I still do, but I journaled a lot back then. So I was able to actually not only sit with my thoughts, but to write them out and to read them out.
You ever read that journal from 5 years ago and you're like, who's that person?
Listen, but at that point though, my thoughts were quite, to me, that they were stable thoughts, you know what I mean? That they were healthy thoughts, because it was literally questioning God firstly, and then, allowing him to show me, show me myself,
right.
The things that I like, that I don't like, some things that I have to work on. So it requires, as you've stated, just being by yourself at times and just reflecting, meditating, trying to find out what you like from what you don't like, as you've stated before. But you have some people, we're going to break real quick, some people who are afraid to be alone.
Oh, they are. They run it from themselves. But you want to run from yourselves, then run into a relationship. How does that work?
That makes no sense.
So then your value is based on whatever the relationship is. So when the relationship fails, you feel like your value is diminished and you no longer want to be here?
No, how about this? You don't like yourself, but you expect the other person to like you.
That one is
Okay.
That one was always fascinating.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm loving today's conversation. Guess what? We're still giving a female, because somehow females tend to be a little shy when it comes to answering questions. The ones who are answering on Facebook, if you want, you can call in. But I'll read your statements on Facebook right after this break.
At the heart of every great meal is a simple yet powerful idea: quality. At Del Monte, we are committed to cultivating quality, growing the freshest, most nutritious vegetables, fruits, and tomatoes for your family. With non-GMO ingredients and BPA-free packaging, you can trust that every can is packed with goodness. So whether it's a quick snack or a hearty family dinner, Del Monte brings wholesome flavor to your table. Look for it in your favorite food store. Del Monte, fresh taste, smart choices. Distributed by Thompson Trading.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape. A Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations: JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your thus will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
With Lysol, you can disinfect all surfaces inside and outside your home. When used as directed, Lysol eliminates 99.9% of bacteria, fungus, and viruses. Maintain a healthy home by preventing sickness and keeping infections under control. Don't just clean your surfaces, disinfect them. Lysol does more for you and your family. That's our mission for health. Distributed by Thompson Trading Company.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You need to turn up the volume. This message is for you.
Where are you in your dream business? Have you published your book as yet? Do you feel fulfilled in life? Need help with time management? Or perhaps a breakthrough in your marriage? I believe we can help. At Your Lane Life Coaching, our professional team will help you discover what you really want and take you from where you are to your desired outcome in your life or marriage. Call us today at 376-8689 or visit our website at www.yourlanelifecoaching.com. Your Lane Life Coaching, discovering pathways to progress. Hello. Welcome back to Your Lane Talk Show with your coach, Trish Hanna. We have with us Dr. Edrika Richardson, and today's show is titled, Lord, I forget the name of the show. What the show name? Singleness with something. What it is, Edrika? What it is, Edrika? The name of the show is
What Singleness Reveals
and how to grow through it. Mm-hmm. That's the name of the show. Praise the Lord. All right. So for those of you who are single or those who know of friends who are single, ask them to tune in. This is the 162nd episode, and we're excited because we talking truth here. All right. We want to set some people free. We talking about mindset change too. We getting there. We go in there. We talking about how, there's nothing wrong with being single. The world is saying, hey, Get it together. You ain't married yet. At this age, you're supposed to already have but 2 children. You know, you're supposed to have your fairy tale wedding, and you're supposed to have your dog with the picket fence by now at age. Okay, you 35, you're 40, 45, and you still ain't married yet. Big deal. All right. So does it mean something? You know?
So let's go back to that. So you just said that you have to...
the world is saying.
The world is saying you have to have these things by this certain timeline. I find more people are so much more interested in the wedding day than the marriage.
Oh, come on. The fairy tale.
That reminds me how much they don't do the work in singleness, that the aesthetics matter more than the content.
Hold on one second, Dr. E. Your Lane Talk Show, good afternoon. Your Lane Talk Show, good afternoon.
Good afternoon again.
Hi.
You're talking about singleness. But do you know that there's a lot of women in churches that are married and they don't even know that they're married?
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, a lot of the women in the churches are married to the pastor. They don't even realize that they're married.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Okay, that gave more
get
context.
you out your house 6 nights out the week.
Ooh.
You don't have nobody to answer to other than him.
I get what you're saying.
The churches do for more. You have about 100 people in your church. Why you can't tell me this set of women come Monday, this set of women come, the same set of women are following the pastor wherever we go to preach. Wherever we go to, sometimes even in preaching. Jesse, he's there visiting, and you have that same crew behind him everywhere. And then they're wondering why they can't find nobody. Because they're overly occupied by the church.
I would say something, but I won't be.
You know,
my guests want to say something. Let me allow her to speak, because once again, this is a truthful. We want to be transparent, and I love her opinion. So let me hear what Edrika has to say. I'm going to let you hang up. Thank you so much for calling.
I was just going to say to the caller, because he says that they already taken, some of them are. The problem is that they are part of the extended marriage. I'm trying to put it in a politically correct term.
You sound very intelligent stating it like that. They're sleeping around with the pastors.
Yes.
Yes, okay, and they having affairs.
Correct.
Okay.
And so the reason you are correct, caller, they are married to them because they are part of the unit that continues to sustain.
Side piece.
They are the very big sweethearts. But even in addition to that, there are those who aren't sweethearts who do follow their pastor ministers around. And what I want to ask people is that, I mean, is there also in the Bible to go to church or worship spaces and stuff like that? Because that sounds a little idolizing to me. And what idolizing, we only supposed to have, one God, right?
Just one.
So if we idolize in the pastor, how can you actually be fulfilling God's word? And I think we have to separate the two, that people confuse the person who is been maybe ordained or to lead the church as the God. And that's not. Yeah. That's two different things.
That's two different things.
And so if your system requires you to come out Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and it's not allowing you to have time with your family or your spouse, I am pretty sure that's not the place you're supposed to be. No. I'm just going to say it that way.
And let me just say, for those who are single and still following around and still in church all the time, there's a time that you want to have time for just you.
Yes.
There's some time that you want to do things other than just church. Not saying that what you're doing is wrong, right?
But you got to diversify your exposure.
Exactly.
And
Get to know you.
Put yourself in spaces and things. You know, the question people most struggle with in life is where you ask them, well, tell me about yourself. You ever see the look on people's face when they just their
eyes switch?
Yeah, how do I answer this question?
Yeah.
And you should be able to answer that question so that when you do start dating to figure out whether or not this person may be your partner, you can answer because you did singleness well enough to have a response for that.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm so-and-so. These are some of the things that I like. Here's the things that I'm growing with. Besides your career, because most of us start with,
I'm a
this, I'm a that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily talking about you or your character or anything about yourself. You were talking about these things that became attached to your identity, but became your identity. Singleness is about time, about you figuring out who you are, so that when somebody asks you that question again, even if it's on a job interview, well, tell me about yourself. You don't say, You are able to eloquently reel off your tongue. Well, this is who I am.
Who's Edrica? I put you on the spot.
Oh,
get him, girl.
I am an auntie first. I always like to tell people that because I love being an auntie. I am a friend. I am a avid learner. I am ambitious. I love things like traveling, new experiences. I'm also a therapist. Yeah, that too. Yeah. I run my own business. Yeah, those things are great. But I am interested in being a part of the catalyst of change for the world.
Come on. I love that.
Yeah.
And you're doing just that. You're helping so many people. Let's read some of these messages. When a single person has worked on themselves and is whole and comfortable, then they are ready for marriage. Too many broken people think that marriage will make them whole. That part right there, because it will not.
Let me add to that. Not only will it not make you whole, relationships, intimate ones, expose all of your vulnerabilities. So even if you weren't ready to deal with them, I can guarantee you within the first 5 years of your marriage, it is going to be tested by those vulnerabilities. We say in therapy that if you make it from year 1 of marriage, you're likely to make it to 5. But if you don't make it to 5, is nothing happening after that, because year 1, we find that a lot of people are transitioning themselves and learning to switch off that individual mentality to more of a collaborative relationship mentality. And that takes time. And then after that year settles in, then hopefully you didn't rush it, but maybe you had no choice or something happened, then you add kids to the mix of that. So we're still trying to grow as together, but now we add in other variables to it. Let me tell you, those first 5 years will kick your butt if you don't do the work being single first.
Come on.
It will. And so I want to encourage people, like, in your singleness, ask yourself some of these questions. You've been around friends or family members who will encourage you. And I know we're going to talk about this. That's why it's so important to have people around you who are going to ask you those. I remember having a conversation, I think it just clicked. See, trauma or memory, not in a bad way. Trauma's not always bad. It just sometimes can help you remember. With my sister about how does she know she was ready to be married? And I remember her saying that she no longer has to think so much or always be in charge of things. And I was like, what do you mean by that? She was like, I am with somebody I could sit down and turn my brain off and allow me to be in my full feminine energy. And when I leave this house, I got to go and boss because my role and stuff at work. And she said, I had to learn the difference. So, and that was something she said she got because while she was single, she was building all those other things. So by the time she got in a relationship, she could settle a little bit and relax in it.
Yeah. Now, mind you still got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work.
Yeah, right. But you don't have to fight as much as hard. No. Because especially if you have a healthy a spouse as well, who's putting in the work. So it's like that y'all double team, you know what I mean? Y'all put in the work together. That calls for a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage. Now, you mentioned friendships a few times, and I really have to go there. The first thing I want to ask is, how do you navigate friendships when your friends are married or in relationships? Let's talk about that first. So for the one that is single, how should a single person conduct themselves around married folk or married friends?
There's a level of boundaries that are put in place in terms of, not I'm thinking of like just basic things like if you and your girls go out for a night, y'all dress as her, shouldn't be doing that. If it is, hey, one of the friends in the group who is married has everybody over, like today it's Super Bowl, have everybody over, everybody watching, and you in the outfit you'd wear with your girlfriends out by yourself. No. You have to think differently in terms of, and I'm saying it, but I'm thinking like, I don't even have to think about this. Like I just automatically would not operate the same way. And not that it's not taking anything away from me, right? But I wouldn't think about wearing like I don't know. You just you dress to respect that person's marriage, and that's what you do. That's the only way I want to say it, because I don't want anybody to think I'm taking away their identity, their sense of self, their style. But I'm saying, use your brain. Think about how you would want somebody to do it for you. Second thing, I think, is that you want to be around people's relationships that are going to encourage you to the next level of yourself. Because not all married people are the best people to be around too, because some of them are in healthy spaces. So you have to also make sure that the encouraging you and teaching you things that will be healthy to help you grow and mature. And that's another important part. And I think that your friends already know that you're single, and most of them will actually, hopefully, if these are your real friends, encourage you to, want to be around stuff like that, so you could see, here's the good things you look out for when you're dealing with dating and trying to get to that next level. And hopefully they introduce you to somebody. I really, if I could do anything, I would encourage all folks who have the ability to put people in spaces together, just put them in spaces so that they could meet each other. You don't have to be in charge of whether or not what happens to them.
Yeah.
But it is harder now because a lot of people aren't getting out there. Yeah. So there's no way to kind of meet other people. So if you could be that friend to say, you know what? I know this really nice person who maybe I'm in a community group with, but I also know this really nice person who is my partner's like sports buddy. Let's just have like a little get together and invite everybody over. We're not going to say anything, but we can introduce them as, oh, y'all two single.
I love that, Edrica. Let me tell you why. I mean, because I all over the place. You have me all over the place.
Sorry.
My mind all over the place because there's so much. Because I wanted to read what the texter stated, and then there are a few other inputs on Facebook. But I wanted to share that you have some people who want to, date. They want to, get to know other people, but they don't know where to go.
Yes,
you have some people who be like, okay, well, I'll be person. I'm a person who like going to clubs and stuff. I don't like parties. I don't like a bunch of people around. But where do I go to find that person? And I know, when it comes to the church, we say, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, meaning the woman shouldn't be out there looking per se. That, that's what the church says. But the man should be the one looking for her. But where does the woman go? I mean,
he's sure he can find you if you're following the pastor around church. But anyway, I think she has to. One, I think it's up to single people to let your friends know that you are open and ready to date. That's the first thing. It's your responsibility to do that. Don't have them assuming. Because there are some single people who are not interested in dating. And they're healthy. They're aren't interested.
Yeah.
But there are people who are interested. You need to tell your friends and family, hey, I am interested. And here are some things I'm looking for. If you know anyone who meet, just do a meet cute. Yeah. You don't have to be a part of anything else. And we need to free them from that too, which is a lot of people will tell me they won't introduce other people because in case something goes wrong, they don't want to be to blame. No, you should literally say to them, hey, if you know anybody who's single, just let me know. I'm always interested in a meet, right? Yeah. And whatever happens between us is us. And I think we have to, when you know you're out there and you're ready, you got to go places. And everyone's, once you're a certain age, you don't go into no club like that. But maybe, like today, people are doing parties around for the Super Bowl. Yeah. You might watch football, but you go because there are a lot of different types of people there. Or maybe you say, I see a lot of people doing Galentines together, all the girlfriends again together. In that space, tell your other girlfriends, look, here's where I'm at with my singleness. Here's my readiness. Just keep your eye open for me.
A girl might be looking for something for herself. But anyway, I get it. Or
I had this great idea. I always said friends should do this. Every friend should bring one single person to like a game night or something. And you just let the room figure itself out.
I love that.
Even if you're in a couple, find one single person and bring them to the event. And let's just see what happens, because we aren't going out the way we used to. Most people now, their life is get up in the morning, maybe work out, go to work, or they work out after work and they go home. We're doing that Monday through Friday a lot of times. Maybe in some Fridays we won't work out. We'll say, we want to go out and have something to eat. We're going right back home. We aren't going to places to network and find these people. Then on Saturday we might stay around the house, maybe watch some Netflix. If we do that, Sunday we get up, we'll go to church, come back home. How are you going to meet people that way? So my esthetician was telling me this week, she was like, I wish you were going to be around. I was going to invite you to church because it's Singles Day. And I was like, so like, everybody stand up. I was like, that's not appealing for single people.
Right.
And she said, I know.
What? You make people stand up on what? What?
I guess look around and see. You know, like how you do birthdays in church? They make all the single people stand up. And I said, that is so anxiety provoking for people who have anxiety. I was like, why would y'all do it that way? Why wouldn't y'all just say, like, if you are on a Saturday at 4:00, why don't y'all all come here for tea or something? Introduce each other in the middle of a church service on a Sunday? You could imagine that?
Yeah. That's
I know they're trying to be helpful, but it's also could be very like, I don't want to be identified as that person because most of us don't want to get up when you visit a church anyway to say you visited. So you can imagine saying,
you single.
Wave the white flag. This is who I am.
Let me read some of these. Lord, we loaded today, Edrica. Okay. Let me read this one. I think a single person needs to learn how to be submissive to themselves first. So before or even if they are into a relationship, they already know how to live with discipline, boundaries, and self-control.
Oh, that's nice.
Someone says, when a single person has worked on themselves and is whole and comfortable in themselves, then they are ready for, I think I read that one, right? I read that one. Okay, someone says, I also think a single person needs to learn how to communicate trust, not just expect it. That means being honest, clear, and consistent in how you speak and act. Before getting into a relationship, it's important to already have certain qualities like emotional maturity, self-discipline, good communication, boundaries, and accountability. If you don't learn these while single, you end up trying to learn them inside the relationship, and that can cause unnecessary issues.
Oh, absolutely. That's a room for disaster.
Someone asks, this is for you, what do you say to two single persons who were actively dating and involved for more than 3 years?
Yeah, are y'all together or just dating? Because you shouldn't be dating anybody for 3 years. Where's the intentionality there? So one of the things I always try to explain to, the nation of the Bahamas, I say the nation, because we don't know what dating is and healthy dating. Let's just start there. There is getting to know you. Then there is dating. Then there's exclusively dating. Then there is getting into a relationship, engagement, marriage, or whatever you all decide after that point. So let's start at the beginning. When you are getting to know people, and I'm going to say this, you should be getting to know as many people as possible. I said get to know. I did not say sleep with. I did not say flirt with. Do all this. You're getting to know people. So you want to have as vast a pool as possible to say, okay, I like you. And then if you move from that round, then you move to the second round, which is dating. Okay, I like this person enough. Maybe I want to go on a few dates with them to see if this is more than just maybe a platonic chemistry that we have. Okay? When you start dating that person, you still could be dating more than one person. I said date because dating is still on a different level of getting to know. Maybe you narrowed the 5 down to 2. Okay?
Well, hold on, Adrica. Let me stop you. Dr. Adrica, let me stop you there. In the Bahamas, when one person say they talking or dating to somebody, that means that's exclusive. That gets shut down. You shouldn't be talking to nobody else. You know how these people go.
And that's why I know we're unhealthy. We are so unhealthy with that.
Dating is fine. You can actually date more than one person just to get to know the person. Doesn't mean that you are exclusive. Please
and that's what people need to understand, because I don't know where we got socialized in our culture to believe that if I start talking to you, I'm only supposed to be talking to you. Yeah. And I see two sides of this. I see where the women get hurt because when they find out the guy is still dating multiple people, then they're upset because they decided, let me say that, they decided to be exclusively date that person while y'all never defined the relationship. And so this is why I say you go for the 5 to the 2. After you date the 2 for, let's say, 3 or 4 dates, and you say, hey, I like this one better, and I'm going to tell this other person, I want to not date you anymore. I'm going to exclusively date this other person. That's where the exclusive dating comes in. Then it's you and that person are dating, getting to know each other. And that can happen for a while. It doesn't have to happen like, 3 more dates, and then now we exclusive. You have to determine for yourself. But you all need to have these conversations.
That's what I was going to say.
It has to start with conversations. Yeah. We need to start with, when you say what you're looking for, do not hedge your bets. Say, hey, I am looking to date for marriage. Hey, I'm looking to date for partnership. Hey, I'm looking to date for whatever the reason is, but you need to have an intentionality with it, because before you know it, you'll find yourself, and I see this new term called humiliationships. Where you don't even know what's going on, but you're being humiliated because you're out there thinking you're all together and you were not. Because there was never a conversation that happened. I know so many clients I have whose feelings get hurt because I said, so when did y'all have the like exclusive conversation? And they're like, what do you mean? We just been like dating for a year. First of all, it does not take a person, whether or not, and 6 months I'm being generous, whether or not they want to exclusively be in a relationship with you or not. So I could see y'all getting to know each other, let's say for a month or two. Then maybe you date month 3. By the end of month 3, y'all exclusive. Maybe another month or 2, y'all exclusively dating. But by month 6, y'all should be in a relationship. So please stop wasting people's time. And I'll tell you this, a person knows, especially from men, and I've heard this from men, they know within 90 days what role they put you in their lives.
Of course.
If it has taken them 3 years, you're a placeholder.
Yeah.
I don't know if nobody told you, but you would be a placeholder.
We hate to burst your bubble, okay? But a man knows what a man wants. He knows what he wants from day one. I would say that. All right, just letting you know.
And actually told me if 2 years we're not engaged or whatever, you need to go.
Yeah.
And when a man told me that, I'd never forget that.
Yeah. Now you do have some situations where the man is dating and he's with you. However, he wants to make sure that his finances are stable and that, you know, he has a place to put you in, because you don't want to just get married and then you just all over the place.
Y'all be suffering together.
Right? So I can understand in that sense that, hey, I want to make sure. Or you're waiting for her to finish school, because I've had couples who
But you could be
did that.
engaged during that time.
You can be engaged. Yes, you can. Right? That is true. So
but you could build together. I think my finances have to be at this particular point, because sometimes we miss the growing together part of relationships. And I'm not saying that you go in poverty together. No, I'm definitely not saying that, because finances, we know, is still the number one reason for divorce. But what I am saying is that if this person is serious about being with you for the long term, they will spend a year or so busting their butts to ensure that they have their finances in a place to make a commitment to you. I'm telling you, I have seen people do it. They say, this is the person I want. I'm going to get myself together for them. And it doesn't mean there wasn't trials and tribulations along the way, but they had their goal and they fixated on that and they made it happen. And so we have this thing here where I've known several people who dated people for, I want to say 5-6 years while they got their finances together. Yet I see them out on the weekends and doing stuff. So the money you could have, anyway, none of my business.
All right. We get it. All right, so let me see if I could read some of these other posts. Okay, this is a text that says, I see some married people get angry at their friend when they run to them. I don't understand that. I don't know if you understand that comment.
Say it again. When married people see.
I see some married people get angry at their friend when they run interference of someone coming into them. And also, there has to be a certain attitude. If you have a woman has a certain attitude to any guy that approaches her, that how dare you approach me attitude. Some ladies repel all men that approaches them and complain about being single. Now, the second part.
No, that one I understand. Yeah. So, and I would say that women, if you are out there and you're putting yourselves in positions to meet people, you have to have a body language of openness and interest. And in case y'all don't know what I'm talking about, that means when you are sitting at a place, you can't always have your arms crossed or your face in deep thought, because sometimes it may not be RBF. Sometimes people are like, they think with their face.
Yeah.
And that would also could throw some people off. So make sure that you have you're
approachable.
You're approachable. You're warm. You're inviting. Your body position says, open. Because closedness, by closing up body, putting your arms around you, all that means is that could be very deterring, because communication happens verbally and non-verbally. So look in the mirror and see what kind of non-verbal communication you're having. I want to say that first part of that message was trying to say interference in terms of maybe saying that your friends overstep potentially when you are single.
If the texter, if you want to kind of, elaborate on that a little bit, clarify that for us a little bit. Let me read this other text. It says, I'm single, but I take time to get to know myself since my last breakup. I learned to get to know yourself over. The you that you are after a relationship comprises of yourself, the reflection of the mate you were with, the growth you. You're not the same person you were going in a relationship compared to coming out. That is true.
That is absolutely true. And what I would add to that is what I always tell people to do is after every relationship you're in, you should do a performance review on yourself. Not on the other person, on yourself. Because we like to do it on the other person. Do it on yourself. What rating would you give yourself as a partner? What rating would you give yourself in terms of communication, in terms of dating, in terms of, let's see, what other things could be on this list? Intimacy, and intimacy does not just mean sex, people. Intimacy means the ability to be affectionate, open, vulnerable, transparent, right? What rating would you give yourself in terms of maybe goal planning and orientation and stuff with that? So give yourself a performance review, and more importantly, always ask yourself, what did I learn from this relationship? Every relationship teaches you something. And sometimes the biggest lessons is things you either want to carry into the next relationship, because I've learned some good things along the way, like, oh yeah, minimum standard has to be met every time. Or it also teaches you stuff like, that thing you thought that was a big deal is a big deal. I've evolved and I want some other things that these things matter most to me. And so each relationship does change you. And that's why it's very important too to not stay in relationships past the expiration, because then that could also damage you.
Come on.
So
let's talk about moving on, because since this person talked about how, they have changed so much since their last relationship, let's talk about soul ties and having to get rid of those so that you can actually cleanse yourself from whatever trauma or heartbreak or just sometimes disappointment, so that you can come into who you are and be ready for the next relationship.
So soul ties is this idea that you have almost, I want to say, this kismic, different level of connection to a person that sometimes goes beyond the relationship. And I say that like you still connected somehow, and y'all might not talk for like 2 years, but you pick up the phone today and it's like right back there.
You're still calling, you're still thinking.
Right. And to me, that means 1, y'all don't have healthy boundaries. And 2, is it that you're trying to still hope that the version of the person you met initially shows up? Because they won't. You only get one time with that person, just so we're all clear. So, those who here hoping for the person to still, no,
change.
They ain't there. That only happened one time. And so when it comes to making sure that, or putting yourself in a position to make relationships make sense, ask yourself if you stayed in that situation so long that the reason y'all are connected is because of some unhealthy trauma bond. A lot of us are still connected to these soul ties for these trauma bonds, because y'all met at a particular time in life, and we'll say stuff like, only that person can understand me. Well, have you tried to explain it to anybody else? Have you tried to explain it to yourself first? And what is it in particular that person did? Because sometimes when you have a person reflect on the honest, transparent look at that relationship, they made that relationship in their head. It didn't actually exist in reality.
They were in denial.
They were in denial. So it is most important that you take an inventory of their relationship, take a real look at it to make sure that in the relationships going forward, that you're not taking all of that baggage with you. The only things you want to take is the things we talked about before, the performance review, the things you learn, so you can get better for the next relationship that's coming into your life, so you can invite a next best healthy relationship.
Let me stick a pin there for those who are listening and tuning in. You are, you're a believer. You believe that God, God's timing is perfect for you, etc., and you want to move on. But you haven't gotten of that soul tie. That person wasn't right for you. You ain't supposed to be with that other person. Can I just say something as practical as getting rid of the things that they bought you?
Oh.
Okay, can we go there? Listen to me, Adrica, let me tell you something.
Look, let me tell you.
There was a Movado, there's a gold Movado watch that my Right.
Just keep going.
That was the hardest thing to get rid of, Edrica. I tell you no lie, because I loved it, right? And of course, this is 18 years, more than 19 years ago. And I got rid of everything else, but that one was
you were
the
just holding
last
on
thing.
to,
I just because I like it, not necessarily because he got it,
right?
Because I really liked it, and I realized that I still had dreams with this particular person. You know what I mean?
Things
and
get
it was
attached.
Like, Lord, let me get rid of this. And the moment I got rid of that,
the weight lifted. Hey,
the weight lifted, and this everything. Believe it or not, yes, we live in a natural world, but everything is spiritual.
It is.
So even you connecting to these things that they bought, the teddy bear from 2 years ago for Valentine's, get it out your room, okay?
First of all, you changed them sheets, yeah?
Ooh. The
Anyway,
sheets gotta go two-way. No, listen, that's what I bring you here for, sis.
The sheets gotta change. Sometimes you gotta change the mattress too. Sometimes you gotta change the apartment. Sometimes you gotta change the island. I've known people who have gone to other islands, you know what I mean? Just to like catch themselves and be more one with themselves. Let go of the material things.
Come on.
Because if we're saying that we evolved as humans, why are we so chained to material possessions?
All my urine. Oh, Lord. The urine had to go, Edrica. The urine had to go.
That's rough. Or, next time what you could do is sell it right and use that money buy your own.
Someone say we stepping on toes today.
But you have to let those things go, because if those things are the only reason keeping y'all together, then it's really surface level if you think about it. It's not substance, it's surface level. Or if the only reason, and I used to think about grief, because if you're with a particular person and a very big grief moment happened in your life, you feel connected to them on that level, but it's really because you haven't probably processed your grief in a healthy way. It's not the person, it's the grief.
Listen, we are going to take a quick break, a quick break, and then we're going to wrap it up right after it. You hear me, Chris? Quick. Right back. We'll be right back.
At the heart of every great meal is a simple yet powerful idea: quality. At Del Monte, we are committed to cultivating quality, growing the freshest, most nutritious vegetables, fruits, and tomatoes for your family. With non-GMO ingredients and BPA-free packaging, is packed with goodness. So whether it's a quick snack or a hearty family dinner, Del Monte brings wholesome flavor to your table. Look for it in your favorite food store. Del Monte, fresh taste, smart choices. Distributed by Thompson Trading.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
With Lysol, you can disinfect all surfaces inside and outside your home. When used as directed, Lysol eliminates 99.9% of bacteria, fungus, and viruses. Maintain a healthy home by preventing sickness and keeping infections under control. Don't just clean your surfaces, disinfect them. Lysol does more for you and your family. That's our mission for health. Distributed by Thompson Trading Company.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back, y'all. It's 4:44. We only got a couple more because there's another show right after us. So, Dr. Edrica. Listen,
okay.
we colleagues, so I,
that's
but
okay.
I still want to respect her, and she worked hard for this doctorate degree. All right, Dr. Edrica said that she will come back because she wants to come back to continue this conversation. It's just so much things. There's a lot of things. There are a lot of posts here that I don't have time to read. There are lots of text messages that we do not have time to read. And please forgive us. We're unable to get through all of them. But Edrica, what were you saying, doctor, prior to this conversation, because there's so much. I haven't even gone through my questions with you yet. I want to talk about growth and healing and practical application for those who.
Okay, so how do we do it? So we always talk a lot about, okay, use your singleness to heal, use your singleness to grow. So how to actually do it? The first thing I think it starts with is having a vision and then a plan of action. So like every year I tell people one thing you should do is start your new year with your theme word for the year, right? Yeah. And why I say a theme word is because it kind of propels through how it will filter through your goals. This year my word is accountability.
I love that.
And the reason I wanted the word accountability was because now I want to be accountable in my health, my fitness. I want to be accountable in my relationship, my family. I want to be accountable to my business goals and those things. And why you can apply that same essence into your singleness is, okay, so let's say your word for the year in singleness is that I want to be able to identify my triggers, right? Triggers. So you want to spend some time this year asking yourselves in different scenarios. You remember last week when you got upset at work? Why did you actually get upset at work? Was it what your boss said? Was it what your coworker did? Or was it the fact that you processed something that did not happen, but in your reality it happened and created the scenario? So you got to spend some time with that. Maybe it is journaling this year, that every month, like you said, or every week, once a week, you're going to sit down and journal with yourself. Maybe a week review. I tell people they should do it all the time. Look at the week, review your week in terms of, things that went well, things that didn't go so well, things that you think you want to add to it. And so we have to do things that actually give us practical application. So in that healing time, you want to ask yourselves, okay, let's say I did come from a not so good relationship before. Why did that relationship really end? And how did you contribute to the demise of that relationship? Be honest with yourself. And then in those areas in which, like, maybe it's your self-esteem is low. So when you go and do the work to build your self-esteem, building self-esteem takes things like doing challenges by yourself. Like, I love the idea of self-dating. When you mention that, I'm one of the biggest self-daters ever. And people don't understand that they'll say, you gonna go eat by yourself? Absolutely. I have so much fun with me. What? And I'm spending my own money on myself. That is the best thing ever.
Come on.
And so learn to date yourself in that time of healing so that you can go and figure out things you like and things you don't like. Also, you maybe want to ensure that in the big major areas of your life that you're doing a check-in. What are your spiritual goals? What are your health goals? What are your friendship goals? What are your career goals? What are some hobbies and things that I want to do or try? Those things will help you mentally and practically get prepared for whatever is going to be the next level of your life.
We didn't talk about, because time is of the essence now. We didn't talk about knowing your red flags, things that you don't like, that you don't like in a particular person, or you would not, want to be involved with an individual someone who is, what do they call them? I forgot the term.
Like a carnival?
But anyway, I forgot the term. But someone who you'd be like, okay, well, you know what? No, this is not deal breakers.
Oh, deal breakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is something that I don't want. Should that be something that people should be writing down and having in their mindset? Because you have people who be like, well, I don't want anyone with kids, right? But have the kids may be the best person you've ever met, your entire life. So when it comes to boundaries, should boundaries just have some type of flexibility, or should you just stick with that?
So I always say they're non-negotiables, and then there are things that you can live with. And you have to figure out which things are non-negotiable and what things you can live with. Like, for instance, there are some people who absolutely, because they are single, maybe they never had kids themselves or never been interested in kids, so they don't want to date or be with anyone with kids. And I think that's a healthy thing to admit, because at the same time, even if that person treats you well, if you have a apprehension or a ick to kids, that wouldn't be a healthy relationship no matter how well they treat you. And that's being honest.
Yeah.
But instead,
the baby mama drama and all this other stuff. No.
Or instead, it could be something like, you know what? I want somebody who has their own place. Now, let's be realistic. The economy we live in this country, it is very hard, even for professionals to get their own places here. It is very hard. So you may instead say, okay, I'm a little flexible on that. Maybe I just don't want to date somebody who does not have a plan to move.
Right.
Meaning,
There should be a plan.
Right. Meaning
Some
like
goal.
they don't have a plan to say, okay, well, in the next 5 years, I want to make sure I have like a piece of property or I am living in an apartment or whatever it is. That's different from a non-negotiable. A non-negotiable is saying, on this, I'm not changing. Like, for instance, if you are a believer in God, why would you date somebody who's not? That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, that is something that should be...
People who are desperate enough to still date atheists or date someone out of their religion. You have
Right.
some people who just, man, they could always surpass that, and I'll just be with them because they nice.
And that's not all... Right. And people have to understand, if these things are your non-negotiables, they're your core values and they don't change. Most of our core values have always been the same if we look at them.
Yeah.
So if it is something that it's different than saying, okay, I don't want to date somebody who doesn't have good hygiene, right? But is hygiene something you can fix, or is it something that's set in stone? You got to ask yourself these questions.
Yeah.
What is education? I'm not dating somebody who don't have degrees. Well, some of the richest people in the world never went to college. Y'all know that, right? And so it's like, is it really education or the status that it looks like that you're interested in?
So we're gonna shut this down because Edrika, I ready to do another hour and roll out my boy who coming in after us, right? But real quick, I want to ask, what is one mindset shift you believe every single person needs in order to grow, not just wait during the season?
Ooh, the word that comes to my mind is, or the phrase, am I enough? Can you, if you can answer that, am I enough? Do you feel enough for yourself? Do you feel enough in the areas in your life in which you say you want, not what society tells you, say you want? If the answer to that is yes, for dating and intimacy and to build a relationship. If you cannot answer the question that you are enough, then you're probably not ready yet for it.
You have some people who feel as if they're enough because they're entitled. Or they feel as if, I have it all together. I'm the prize. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean...
Okay, first of all, as a therapist, since we use this with all these degrees, no one has it all together. Nobody. First of all, our parents still trying to figure out how to parent us.
Right.
Okay? We trying to figure out how to parent them. None of us have it all together. We're all trying to figure this whole life thing out as best as we can and use the things that are our core values to guide that, like our spiritual practices, our beliefs, our morals, and stuff like that. So if anyone tells you they're fixed and they're ready and there's no room for growth, please run the other way.
My God. Okay. I love that. Now, Dr. Edrika, this is the person who I had, for those who are asking, her name, the guest on the show, her name is Dr. Edrika Richardson, and she's going to share with you her contacts so that you can reach out to her in reference to further, therapy sessions, etc. Go right ahead, Mom.
So if you're interested, feel free to go to my website. It's www.rpc-ltd.com. Again, it's rpc-ltd.com. You can find all my links to all my socials, my book, everything that's out there, as well as the contact information. Or if you want to just send a message or call my office, you can send a WhatsApp or call at 425-0718. Again, remember, we all need a little help sometimes as we grow, and I just want all of us to be the best version of ourselves, better than yesterday.
Okay. All right. I love it. All right. Let's take a quick coach moment. All right. Coach Trish's moment. I want to appeal to every single person listening today, and hear me clearly. Singleness is not the fact that God has forgotten you, okay? It is God forming you, all right? So everything that Dr. Edrika stated today about knowing who you are, getting to know your likes and dislikes, getting to sit in your thoughts, all of this is what causes you to get to know who you are and who God wants you to be, okay? And the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So singleness is a season with purpose, not a pause on your life. You're not going to die. Oh my God, I'm going to die single. And if you die single, so what? Okay, you in this time of preparation should be, how could I serve other people as well? How can I serve the communities? What can I do to make an impact in this world? You know what I mean? While I'm waiting, especially for a woman, while I'm waiting, let me be active in other things as I'm getting them as well. All right. It also says, I think it's James chapter 1, verse 4 says, let patience have a perfect work, that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. Notice it doesn't say lacking a spouse. It says lacking nothing. That means wholeness is possible right now in this season, okay? And singleness doesn't just reveal whether you're ready for a relationship or not. It reveals whether you're emotionally whole, self-aware, and rooted in who you are without one person. So don't just rush this season. Don't rush this season. Don't resent it. Let it reveal who you are. Heal you first. Grow first, okay? Grow in your mindset. Get rid of the old baggages, those things that kept you bound. Get rid of even the friendships. We didn't really get into it too much, but those friendships that say, girl, he ain't no body gal, you know what I mean? While you're trying to get to meet people, or maybe they're jealous. Get rid of the circles that make every time when you try to bring up someone always trying to find a fault with that person. Girl, you don't like him. Girl, you see the type of car he driving, or, oh, she doesn't have a stable job, but you see potential. Okay, look at things like that. If you want to, sit down and just write up some things that you like or what you require. But most importantly, go to God and ask him what he wants. You'll be surprised. You have some people who would have never thought that they would marry. The people who they are blooming, they are blossoming. They are very healthy in their relationships, because in most times you see, especially in our culture, we tend to go by materialistic things. We tend to go by, oh, this person has a car. It's well and good that the person is stable, financially stable, but that does not make that person. That's not that person's character. You look for the inner part, right? The Bible says God doesn't look at the outer, he looks in the heart. So that's what you want to look for as well. Let's look at the fruit of that individual. If there's someone who you are potentially wanting to date, let's look at their fruit. What are they doing? How are they progressing? Let's listen to the things that they say, their conversations. Let's look at the fact that they value your values, okay? If there's someone who wants to remain pure and who wants to stay until it's time for a marriage. Okay, if this person is forcing you to do something, then you need to think about that. Okay, if they're causing you to compromise, you need to think about those things. So it's more than just, okay, I'm just trying to hurry up, get married because I have a timeline on this. This is okay. If this is someone who's trying to cause me to compromise who I am as an individual, maybe I should give it a second thought. Maybe I should stay single a little while longer until I find that individual who can relate to what my values are or what my standards are, okay? The goal is not just partners at the end of the day, because when y'all come together, y'all coming together for the purpose. We come together to think about generations along the line. It's not just because of you and what your wants are right now. All right, so as we are closing, we want you to just stay in your lane, trust God's timing, and keep becoming. All right, Your Lane, episode 162, What Singleness Reveals and How to Grow Through It. It was a pleasure having Dr. Edrika Richardson as our guest. She just lit up the entire room. But I want to also thank our sponsors, Your Lane Life Coaching. You can go to www.yourlanelifecoaching.com for life and relationship coaching. John's Shoe Store and Accessories, Tropical Gyros, the Perfume Bar, YBE Promotions. Of course, you want to make sure you have your tickets for the I Shall Not Want concert that's happening February 27th. All right. The Children's Dream Journal, also brought to you by DQ Bahamas Grill and Chill. DQ Bahamas Grill and Chill is now open at the Harbor Bay Shopping Center. Go get your crispy fries, your made-to-order burger, and your favorite Blizzard treat. Lysol, distributed by Thompson Trading, and Del Monte, distributed by Thompson Trading. All right. Now we're going to have episode 163, and it's entitled, Yeah, Valentine's Was Sweet, but Was It Safe? Okay. Dr. Narad Morgan, Clinical Medical Officer in the Department of Infectious Diseases in the Ministry of Health. He's coming to talk about STDs. Yeah, I'm sorry. It couldn't have been this show today because we wanted to start today so that you could be prepared for the weekend, but that's okay. But until then, please be safe out there to our singles and to our married. Yeah, please be safe. We're going to go there. Thank you so much, Dr. Edrika, for being a part of today's show. Thank you to my producer, Chris, for holding it down, as you always do. Thank you to our Your Lane listeners and the new listeners. Congratulations to, I think, what's his name here? Julian Ferguson for winning today's tickets to the I Shall Not Want concert. I pray that you were all empowered, encouraged, and educated to stay in your lane. Remember that you can survive singleness, all right? It's not a death sentence, okay? And until next time, happy Sunday. I am so sorry that I'm unable to read all of the messages. Go Seahawks! Woohoo! Happy Sunday, everyone.